What's up there? It's the first day of my moon cycle. For some weird reason, I'm not in pain. But yesterday, I was so tired. Anyway, why am I even doing this video? I think I really had to speak on camera here and no one else. Because lately, what I have realized is that people like to talk a lot, actually, and not hear. And I'm really wondering if I have been a person like that, you know. I really believe, because I know me, you know, that I always want to understand others, where they're coming from. I'm always listening. But what I have realized is that back then in the past, I was trying to I was trying to solve things and give advices when I should have given space, where I should have given more understanding. And it's not that I wasn't given understanding, but sometimes giving understanding is not saying to someone, I understand where you're coming from. Sometimes understanding is just shutting the fuck up. Okay? Sometimes understanding is not trying to give advice or solve a thing. Sometimes understanding is that all you actually need to do right now is just sit there with this other person, give them space, and just let them lean on you, and generally let them be where they are, right? So I feel like through my own journey, that makes me be more involved in my friendships from now on, for my new friendships, because everything from the past is that I have no friends right now, you know what I'm saying? But for the first time in my life, I'm not so unhappy about it, I'm not. I tried so hard actually to keep each one of the things that I've built, but sometimes life, wants you to evolve and transform and change, and we are nothing without change. And that's what I realize as we are, our nodes are still going to be for like another, I don't know how many other months. There are a lot of months, like more than 6 months in mutable signs. And, this mutable sign energy in the sky is teaching me how to let go, right? How to accept change, because that's what mutable signs do. They accept change all the time, and that is not just only be mutable, only be cardinal, only be fixed, because that's the problem. Sometimes you need to use each modality in each way, in each situation. You really need to. Okay, so just to give an example, and just to end this conversation about astrology, right? But yeah, we need change as much as we need stability, as much as we need to start, but each thing needs to happen in its time. Sometimes we are being too stubborn on things that needed to end, and we just don't let this mutable mobility and energy run and move through us to do that, right? We stay so stuck and fixed in this one situation, this one emotion, this one feeling, this one experience, this one memory, and we just don't want to let go. But yeah, what I wanted to say is, I understand lately that people, it's funny because I was saying, like, I want people to give me advice, because I'm like, I advise everyone. I always solve problems for everyone, and I want that back. And now that I got that back, it's like, it's terrible. It's terrible. Why would I want that? It's terrible. I remember I was, like, I was I was saying so much about it, and now that I see a lot of people coming with advices on my life and all that, I'm like, who the fuck are you? And And there's nothing wrong. You know, I'm the type of person, I have learned to hear other people's opinions, right? I have learned to people please. I have learned to put other people's opinions in, you know, like so above me, and just like so, I cannot say it in English, but like I have learned to put other people's opinions first, and my own last, you know. Most of my life I was asking people, what do you think? What do you think? What is your point of view? That's because I wanted to see another point of view. You know, I have Sagittarius Mercury. I really like to see, you know, I really like to open my horizons. I don't like to close them. I really want to see, you know, what everyone's thinking, and, you know, the different ways of thinking. But at the same time, I realized it was because my cat is being a bully right now to another cat. But anyways, so she looks at me and she's like, bully? No, really, it's not her fault because this cat bullied her first. So, yo. Anyways, yeah. But when you have learned to put everybody else's opinion, you start to ask first everybody else instead of taking your own opinion. And now I realize how bad it has gotten, how bad it is. And there's nothing wrong with asking for solutions, but sometimes you don't need solutions. I really thought all this time in my life till now that I'm 25 and I'll soon become 26, God bless. I really thought that I had a problem, that that I needed someone to give me an advice, that I needed someone to guide me. Um, but I didn't need that. You know what? Because each and every one of us knows what we need to do. Okay, we know what we need to do. Sometimes we don't, but like most of the times we really know what we need to do. And if not, life is guiding us this way, right? So sooner or later, we know, we learn, we find a solution. But it wasn't a bad solution because I have learned to be trained like that as the firstborn, as the first daughter, and as the bigger sister. I have learned to give solutions and give, you know, advice and all that. But that's not what I really wanted. At the end of the day, it wasn't just advice. It wasn't just advice. It was space to be, space for me to feel safe, space for me to be emotionally regulated. It was space for me to express my anger, express my pain, express my sadness without having someone to tell me you need to see a therapist, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. What I have learned is no, therefore I don't need a therapist. Let me tell you why. Because true friends and true community, we used to be like that. See, we used to be a community which we knew how to lean on each other, but now we don't. Now we don't. And the people who know how to give you a shoulder to cry on and lean on are the people that are being taken advantage of in the society. And you give help and you never get it back from the people you gave it to. Just a minute. So, you know, the society has taught you that you need, when you have when you feel angry, when you feel sad, when you feel depressed, you need to go to speak to someone, right? When you have a burnout, you need to speak to someone. But that has barely helped me in life. You know, speaking to someone, which I don't know, and I have to explain my life, and I don't know if I'm going to click with, right? Because it's all about having the right person. It's all about having a person you feel like you can talk to, well, where you don't feel like you need to be half. Because like for all these years, which I've tried therapy, before the last therapist that I had to hide my spiritual self, and I am nothing without my spiritual self. I'm not me. I'm half of me. I am not me. I'm just someone pretending I'm not. And I couldn't speak about spirituality and all those things that I know or like or search, because people think you're crazy if you speak about spirit guides, about God, about near-death experiences, about intuition and the inner voice. That's how we've gotten here, you know. They said we women are witches and we're doing magic and we're doing fucking spells and shit just because we're just so in tune physically and naturally in our intuition and our spiritual gifts and with God and with everything. And then they turn religion into a man-made thing, and we have put in men to the front of it. Women nowhere. We've been erased from everywhere that has to do with religion. Okay, and yes, and I don't think therapy works, and I really like this one therapist that said some people do not need therapy, some people need community. I really do believe that. There are just some people need to work on their traumas. I understand that. But then there's just some people which they don't have the right community. They don't have the right container to keep them, to keep them safe, to buck them up, to help them. They don't have the right container, right? They don't have the right container. That is the problem. My problem, I can name my problem, and I don't need a therapist to name that shit for me. And it's wild because a lot of people say you need a therapist. I don't need a therapist to tell me what I already know. I know my life better than everybody else. And if I ever need to put someone so above me for my life, we're having a problem. And I've been doing that for so long. Okay? Because now we have become a society, bro. Like, we need to go to a doctor to tell us what is wrong with our bodies. We don't know what is wrong with our bodies. We don't know if we're chronically stressed or chronically sad or just depressed. We don't know. You know? Like, what's up? We don't need a doctor. I've been insulin resistant diagnosed, and most of the things I have learned them myself through my own experience, through my own symbolization, through so much shit that I have gathered from sessions, from this, from that. But all of that was my work. I booked the session. I searched for this one, I searched for the other. No doctor did that. A doctor just gave me some pills and said, go on with your life, or go to a dietitian and it's going to fix your diet and you need to go to the gym. Nothing else. You know, they don't tell you why you have what you have. They're just going to tell you you're stressed. But is that all? Am I just stressed? Or is my body feel so unsafe? And am I just so out of touch with nature? Like, what is it? Is it just stress? And why is it just stress? And why is that we as human beings feel it's natural to have a panic attack in this life? Like, it's natural for people speaking about having panic attacks all the time. Is that fucking natural? It doesn't sound natural to me. I mean, I know that is an expression and a reaction of the body when it feels too much pressure, too much stress, too much this, too much that. But do we really? Like, do we really have to do that? Do we really have to be all the time like that? I'm not sure. I don't believe people in the past were like that all the time. I don't believe actually people in the past that were one with nature had panic attacks. A lot of old people that work with nature don't even know what that is, because when you work with nature, you become one with nature, one with its cycles, with its foods, with everything. So you're in tune with the flow, with the changes of life. Only when you resist them, that's when the problem comes in. And that comes from an insulin resistant person. I know that. But yeah, going back, like, we're so fucked up, and a therapist is not going to help us, because most of these people are just scientists. They don't work with the soul. It's called psychologist, and in Greek it means psyche, right? Psyche, like psyche logos, which in Greek is called psycho logos, and it means the words of the soul. Okay, and we have turned it into something else. Like, I don't know, like we give pills to treat an illness of the soul. Like, make that make sense. And you need to speak to a therapist, which you don't know, and you don't know if you're going to click with, and you have to tell your whole life. And if you do not click with them, then you have to say again and again and again. You have to revisit the past again and again and again and again and again. You're like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. Okay. I have revisited my past so many times in my dialogues with my sister, in my dialogues with a lot of friends. I don't want to do that. Fuck that. I don't want another therapist. You know what I want? Friends who care about me. Friends who care to fucking call me, to fucking text me, to do things for me. Not because I say to them, not because I say, not because I said so, but because they feel like it. You know, to do practical things. People don't have to be on the call or in the text messages if they cannot be. If they can be here with you. They can help you on practical matters such as washing your dishes, doing some chores you cannot do, making food for you, or or making food from their house or from their home and giving it to you. They can lend you some money. They can go to the supermarket and just buy the groceries and help you, whether that is economically or just as, as doing that one thing. Like, there's just so many things, but people do not thinking of it. And we had friends till early September who were like that. We had them in our lives for so long, cheating ourselves and being so delusional in the way that we're being taken care of, and these people care for us, and we have people. But all this time we just had people we knew. That is it. Through our whole life changes that we went, 1 year ago, which is living in our house, renting somewhere else, and just generally, like, just so many emotional things that we had to go through, because we were in this whole thing of just selling our whole house, and then something happened last minute, and just so many emotional and economical things and changes and this and that, so much unsafety. Then my health was not good, and so many things that came up, and these people were there, but they never truly were. They were just people in our lives, nothing else. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing people, you need to go to therapy. No. What I really need is community, bro. What I really need is a friend which I can talk to on the phone, and a friend is going to check up on me, and a friend that is not going to send me a text message after half a month while I'm going through something really terrible right now, and they know it. I need a friend who cares for me, who checks up on me, not a friend that I'm going to beg to text me back or call me. What the fuck is that? When you say you're here, when you say you want to help, when you say I love you and I care for you, you show it. No more fucking words. And it's not about having a fucking therapist. It's about having a fucking community that can back you the fuck up. Okay? That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not therapy, I swear. I swear it's not therapy. Maybe therapy is for your traumas and for this and for that. But for me right now, I don't want to say any more about my past. I know. It was tough. It was shit. And yesterday that I talk about it, yes, I was abused. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And then even physically, because my needs and meds were neglected, and that made illnesses to my body, and I wasn't even learn how to be emotionally regulated, which that lead to illnesses again in my body. So I was abused, okay? I know I was abused. But do I really want to talk about it all the time, how abused I was? No, because no matter how many times you talk about it, it's not going to change the fact. What changes the fact is feeling it in your body, making space for it. Start having safety around your emotions, this intention emotions. Knowing you are abused and feeling you are abused are two different things. Because just because you know it, it doesn't mean it has solved the problem. Just because you know it doesn't mean it's no longer there. You just have an awareness. You just give a name. But the actual work is to feel it. Is to learn how to give space to yourself, to feel like yes, you were abused, to feel the abuse, to not neglect it, to not deny it. Because when you have learned to deny it most of your life, you have learned to find ways to cope with it, right? Coping mechanisms. But now, to heal it, you need to change your mechanisms. You need to change the way you treat your body. It's not about coping, it's about working with your body. And yes, it's about feeling that. And it's about, it's really great that some people recognize that, but it's also about not speaking about it all the time, only if you really need to. And in my life, I don't need to speak about my mother and my father. I don't want to. I've done that for like 2-3 years, and for so many years with my sister, with some other people. I don't want to do that, and I don't want to take advice on people for this relationship, because this relationship is going nowhere. I don't want to fix anything. I don't want to fix anything. None of that needs fiction, actually. None of that. I can totally live my life without having any relationship with these people. And it may sound cruel, it may sound sad, but I'm better without them. And I don't need fixing, because I'm not broken. I'm not broken. This thing happened. It was fucking terrible. But I cannot go back there and change that. And I cannot fix this relationship. All I can really do is give time and space to myself to feel the neglect, to feel all these things, and to start releasing that. Right? Yes, I've been abused and I've been neglected, and it's not good and it's not okay. It's not good and it's not okay. And it hurts. And sometimes it needs a lot of work. Some days are so good, some days are so hard. It changes. It goes in waves. I was grieving for a year. Now I'm a little better. Maybe I'll start grieving again. I don't know. But all I know is that I know it. I'm aware of it. I don't need someone to tell me that I've been through bad. Maybe sometimes we need, because when you have learned to be a strong person, it's a regular thing for you. Oh, another obstacle, another obstacle, and that's how I came till here. Another obstacle, and it's okay. Like another obstacle. Like it was okay. Another obstacle. It was like, oh, another obstacle, but it was also like, okay, another obstacle. Like I'm new to this, and I never learned to congratulate myself, because I've never been congratulated on. Most of the time, my parents have the best words from my parents that I got to hear. It's that it's my fault, that I'm lazy, that I don't do nothing. Those were the best words from them. And yeah, it's like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. Like, how to say this? I'm learning how to congratulate myself. I'm learning how much I have been on the survival mode of trying of going hard and going hard and going hard. And sometimes when your life is already hard, you don't need to go hard. Just do the difference to be soft. Go softer, okay? That's what I'm learning right now. And it's not easy. And that was like 24/4 on my clock. yeah, when life is already hard and you go harder, we don't need that. And that's what I'm learning, and that's a flex for me right now, because for all my years I have learned to go super hard on myself because that's what others teach me. But it's now that I'm teaching myself, even though everybody else saying that you need to go soft, and that's what you need to do. And that's the hard thing for me sometimes, going softer. Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? But that's what I need. That's what I need. That's what my body needs, to go softer, to not be pressured, to not put more anxiety and stress on my body, to put more empathy and understanding. Now I'm back with food this time. Just give me a sec to adjust this. Okay. So that's what I have found out. You know, and I have found that I have been not worst friend, but I could do better. Okay. But yeah, you know, it's funny. All this time I thought I needed advice. No. What I really needed was advice and understanding for myself, not for everybody else. Because now that I got the advice, it's like, none of you lived my life. You don't know what I need. You don't know how I work. And, you know, because it was real difficult. Everybody was pushing me to go to therapy and psychotherapy. Well, I had this one therapist, which we were working from for May, from, you know, like last days of May till last days of July, and I really thought I found my person. Because, like, for the first time in my life, I could say about spiritual things, because she had done also some energy work on her. She had her own journey with spirituality and all that. But even though I understood that it was like the surface level of spirituality. Anyways. And why I'm saying that, you know, because like surface level is bypassing things, you know, like the things that are in our body, we don't need energetic therapy, in my opinion. You know, some people do need, but some other people need to work on their traumas, do shadow work, you know, not bypass their emotions, you know, somatic therapy, feel their feelings. And I don't think an energy healing can ever do that, because I have the first level of Reiki. It can help you for the moment, but it cannot help you solve things. You know what I'm saying? It cannot help you go deeper. It can help you for the moment if you have any pain, if you don't feel balanced. It can help you, it can balance you, but you're going to start being imbalanced if you don't have the right people, if you know you don't eat the right foods, if you do not do the right work in your body and generally with your soul and everything. So energy work is great, but it's like deeper than we need to work, and energy work does not go there. Okay. Maybe a tarot reader can help you and guide you. Maybe like an intuitive person, you know, like a psychic. I was working for a year and some with an intuitive, with a medical intuitive, and that has helped me so much. But you know, everybody works differently, and not everybody needs a therapist, and not everybody can work with a therapist. But I had this one therapist, right? And I told her that for some economical reasons I have to stop the sessions with you, and I'm so sad about it. And there were some other things that happened which I did not know, because we hadn't had a deal about some things such as those. And anyways, we kind of figured this thing out, and I think that from then on she was kind of like, you know, something kind of broke. And then when I told her that you know, which she knew that I had difficulties economically, right? Because I was telling her in our sessions, and I told her that, you know, I don't want to tell you this last minute or anything. I told her 1 week before our session, our next session, I was like, I really don't have the money to keep doing that with you, and I'm really sad. And but I said, like, if I can call you, would that be okay? And she said, yes, you can call me. And I remember this one day that I had the worst hysteria of my life. I called her and she didn't pick up, and later I found out that she had like the first year of birthday for her baby. I'm not sure. On Instagram, I think my sister told me, because she was also following her. And I just texted her that something really traumatic went down for me. I have like some money for one session. If you can guide me through this, I need some guidance right now. And she said, I don't work like that, because we need to be responsible, and we need to have continuation, like good, good continuation, like get on with your life. That's what she basically told me. And I was like, what? It wasn't that I was pressuring or anything. Like I said, when your schedule can fit me, I'll happily do one session with you. Like I can wait for 1 week or 2 weeks, but I really need someone. And when I needed her the most, she vanished. She vanished, girl. And you know what? After that, when you feel so abandoned and so betrayed by your own therapist, which you had for the first time in my life, I remember just texting her and telling her, thank you so much. Like, this is the first time it's happening to me. And also I remember telling her and telling to my sister that, hey, I finally found my person, my therapist and all that. And I really just thought that therapy is working for me. But even before her abandonment and her denial and her like her own way of doing things, this weren't working because I felt pressure. Okay, but before I go to this point of what I found out wasn't working for me, is that there was a really traumatic thing. Like, we don't not talk about the therapist that actually puts you into more trauma. Like, let's talk about that for a minute, okay? And you hear my God in the background doing her own shit. It's like, we don't talk about how much a therapist can put you through, and how much trauma it can cause you. Having someone that you told your whole life, you told your whole deepest traumas, you told your whole deepest fears, you told them how abandoned you are, they knew, and then they did the same. Like, you cannot make this shit up. And it's like, you know what? I'm so down with people. That's what I was saying to God today. Even I was like, God, I'm so down with people. People have failed me and betrayed me to the fucking core. It's like, and I don't even know why sometimes I'm so positive about people, and I believe in good, and I believe in good relationships, and I believe in romanticism, even though I haven't seen that in my life outside of movies and series, because I know that I'm going to live that. But it's the fact that I haven't in my life till now. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a good friendship, even from my friends or from like people outside of me. I've never seen that. I didn't even witness that. I was like, let's just say like even third wheeling, right? Never witnessed that. So it's like, it's whatever. It's whatever. And maybe anyways, it was the level of these people, and maybe it was my own. But yeah, I don't know. Like, people have failed me and betrayed me so much, but it's like, I don't know why I believe and I see the good in them. That's what I was saying to God. God, I don't know how you did that, but you did that. Now, and so sometimes I don't know if you really have fucked up, or if you don't, or if you didn't. Like, because like, why am I keep seeing the beauty and the good even after all this? I mean, like, the strength that strength and that's beauty there, but at the same time it's fucked up. Okay, give me a moment. Okay. Okay. Cause like, how do I hate people but I want to help people? Like, that doesn't make fucking sense. My whole life. That is my whole life. Anyways, baby. You know, life is weird. Life is so weird, just like that. And yeah, we do not talk about the trauma that therapists may put you through. And then you have to find another. And here's to the other thing. You know, people are gonna say to you, but you know, you have to keep going to therapists and all that. Like yesterday I seen my godmother, which I had seen her for like a decade, let's just say. Because I wanted some help for some legal matters, and she's a lawyer. And you know, I told her some things, like she asked us for our, you know, our relationship with her parents and all that, and that what she did not know, what she missed and all that. And she was like, whoa, oh my gosh. And you know, she told me that I need to find a therapist. She told me that I need to you know, speak with someone. And I'm like, you know, the last one that I had, I still haven't recovered from that one. I cannot go to someone else. And she was like, but you have to, you know, I have to speak to someone. And the thing is, I don't have to speak to someone, really, you know. That's what I thought I really needed, to speak to someone. But it's not speaking to someone which I do not know, and they don't really care to give me any solution or advice. It's just to keep a safe space for me. That's all. But you know what I have found out lately? I can speak to myself as I did like those 2-3 years. That's self-therapy for me. Me in this camera, I'm safe, totally safe. Why? I'm with myself, by myself. I speak to myself. And I consider myself as a safe person, you know? So, no one to snitch on me, no one to abandon me, no one to betray me. No one to think they need to give me any solution or advice on my life. A life they never really lived, right? I have lived my life, so I know what I've been through. And I don't have to say time again what happened, because I know, you know, it's not my fault you weren't there. Bye, you know, like that is free therapy for me, and therapy should supposed to be free. But even in the places where therapy is free for me, I right now cannot go because I am not ready to get to the best. And you know what? I don't feel guilty about it. Everybody wants to make me feel guilty, and everybody says, but you're so young, and you know, like you are right now you're stuck and you need to get on with your life. And the thing is, yes, I need to get on with my life, but what am I going to do? Am I going to put myself in a panic attack time and time again just to not get stuck on life? And what about if we need sometimes to just pause? That doesn't mean you're stagnant. It doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're processing things. And I never had that before. I never had time to process things. You know, it was always how to go on the run. Do things on the run all the time. You had to go and you had to go and you had to go. What is that? Where do I have to go? You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a fucking break. I don't want to do anything. I just want to process things, and I just need my time. I don't need to rush, because when we rush things, that's when we do some fuckery things, and that goes from a person, which sometimes when I'm desperate, I choose so not good things. You know, when you're desperate, you're going to choose something that is not good for you. But, you know what I mean? That's a lesson, but at the same time, that's why you don't have to rush. Because when you rush things, that's when shit hits the fan. When you rush things, that's when things do not go well. You know, like you see when people are desperate again in relationships, they just choose the wrong one again and again and again. And that goes for friendships. Just because you're desperate to stay alone, you ended up being with the same type of people that you were before. Or you do the same cycles over and over again, because it's not about the people, it's about what you attract, and what you attract is what you think you deserve. I hate to say that. I hate to say that. But it's true. Sometimes you attract the people you think you deserve. Or you attract the people that reflect the traumas that you're still, or the cycles that, and the patterns and the programs that you haven't left behind. I'm not saying you have to be totally healed, no, but like if you are a people pleaser and you keep putting yourself in positions with other need to validate you, and you always put yourself in the back seat, that's never going to change until you change it. Do you say no? No. This time around, I will not sit with a person like that. You smell it from the start, or when you see the signs, and you just live in the Irish goodbye. Because what I have realized till now, the problem that I had back then is the fact that, and one thing that I said that I no longer want to do, is that I was being in situations, in relationships, which I gave so much time of my life to be there, and I knew they weren't working for me. I should have left sooner, but I wasn't ready to do that yet. I wasn't ready to do that yet, and I wasn't ready to be alone. And that's what I noticed, that I need to change. Like, stop dragging things you no longer want. They're no longer good for you. Stop dragging things. Stop doing things that are no longer good for you. Stop dragging yourself into situations, and stop giving time for people to prove you wrong. People have showed you who they are the first time. That's what I say to myself. And maybe, sometimes, not always first time, but you see people, if they're going to be there in your difficulties. If one difficulty or two difficulties have happened and they weren't there, they're not going to be on the others. Sorry for telling you. Like, I had friends for years who they weren't there for me, but somehow I thought they would be magically or miraculously one day. It's not gonna happen. It never really did. And I had to learn the hard way when when my life was having a whole tower moment and my health was to shit. Yes. That's when I learned that, they never really were there for me. They'll never really be. Because they don't choose to. So that's it. In case you don't see, that's what's happening. I guess that's what I wanted to say. Oh, and yeah, another thing. What I realized through therapy is that, a lot of people just want to find a solution. And a lot of times it's not about finding a solution. It's not even about the guidance. It's about giving you a safe space to express yourself, just feel your shit, feel your feelings, that's it. And validate that. Validate your experience, validate your emotions, validate what you're feeling. It's not about solutions. It's not about practical things. Some people do not need that. I don't need that. I know what I need to do. The thing is that a lot of times I do not have the space to be myself, express myself. That's all I ever needed, truly. That's what I realized. That's what I want to say, I believe therapy is a system that's not working, if you ask me. Because a lot of people, they may have the degree on being a therapist, but not a lot of people are good at being therapists. The people that think are the greatest therapists are people who have been through some shit and they have done their own healing and they know how shitty that is. A person who has went through hell will never put others through hell. But a person who had never been and had like a safe life and mommy and daddy in the background helping them with it's just I don't know. It's like a person who thinks they want to help, or a person who just does that for the money and the prestige but nothing else. That's what I believe. That's how that's what people are really resonate. A lot of people that I resonate with are therapists who have been through a lot. Okay, that's what I believe. There's nothing beats personal experience. No amount of knowledge ever can beat personal experience. None of that. No degree, no retreat, no seminar, no nothing can ever beat personal experience. Period. So yeah, that's what I want to say. So, and that the systems are just falling apart. That's what they do. And I never believed in this system. I wanted to be a psychologist, but the reason I didn't was because they give medication to people, and later I found out that was a psychiatrist. But even though, this whole system is just needs to change. We're doing something wrong if we have to medicate people. And if we have to send people to clinics, I don't think that's good. And I'll say that because, ayahuasca told me some things about what happens with mental health and all that with mental health. It is basically not feeling your feelings. It's basically running away from your emotions and shutting down and just do whatever you can to not feel an emotion and to not get through an experience. That's how most of mental illnesses are happening. And it showed me in like a comic sense, like an animation. But yeah, a lot of people who end up at the clinics were people who never been taken care of, people who had strong intuition, but the society never supported that, and they never got to meet the right people, and they ended up there. I don't believe people have problems just because they see things where they react too much. They react too much because they've been through too much. You can never change my mind. So, yeah. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much for listening. I may do a podcast actually about that. And isn't that crazy? I always wanted to make a podcast since now like Pisces eclipse season. I might do that. Yeah. And we're going to Virgo eclipse. Anyways, I pray for all of us. This eclipse season It's flowy once and then rocky the other. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but thank you for making it to here. Love you. I'm not going to edit this. This is a big video, okay? I'm going to just put it unedited and just love. You know, if you rock with me, you're not going to have any problem. Yeah, sorry, you know, like sometimes I forgot how to speak English. That's okay.